Hey, practice owners. Glad to have you back for another edition of Coming Back Stronger. My guest today, Dr. Nathan Ho. You guys, you'll know him from Envision Stars, which is some of what we're going to talk about today. He also runs a Facebook group called Dental WinWin, which is probably one of the, if not the most, one of the most active Facebook groups for dentists and practice owners on Facebook. And then he also does summits, dental win-win summits that really bring together a lot of key opinion leaders, just, smart people in dentistry for a couple of days to get together. What used to be these gigantic events are now really nice, comfortable. And I've been to a couple of the intimate events where you get to rub elbows with the speakers and a whole lot better experience. So with that, Nathan, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Steve. I have a lot of time these days. So basically, I try to get ready mentally and physically to go back to business. So how have you been?
Good. I was telling you beforehand, the idea of this series, Coming Back Stronger, has sort of caught fire. We started with a couple. I did 2 or 3 or 4 interviews. They pushed them out, and then and normally they're in our platform, kind of behind the paywall. And these, we just said, let's just put them out there, make them free. Everybody can listen. It's good advice. And suddenly my email box was just flooded with, hey, I'd like to do one. So I put some people in charge of it and said, anybody who is, fits this bill, like you, a key opinion leader, let's fit them in. Let's, this is a unique time. A lot of us, we can't practice. We can't do our normal work. So instead of staying home and binge watching Netflix and, cutting the grass, I thought, let's do this. So it's worked out really well.
Yeah, great. The matter of fact, I watched a couple of the webinars that you've done with other leaders, and they're great. I learned a couple of strategies here and there. So it's very helpful.
I appreciate it. And so what I try to do is find people who have a lane, so to speak, that, we can all talk, high level about what you could do in dentistry and that kind of thing. What I try to do is find people who have sort of a lane and something unique that adds value to a practice owner who says, gee, I'm not really doing that well. And, with Envision Stars, your lane is really sort of reputation marketing, referral systems. You've really developed that. And I'd like you to explain what Envision Stars is, but in the context of somebody who is sitting at home watching this and really wants to work on their practice, wants to position themselves to deal in the post-corona world, and some things they could probably be doing now. A lot of things, don't cost anything. They just take some time. You have plenty of time. So kind of in that context of reputation, dealing with your reputation, getting, 5-star reviews, and what you do well with Envision Stars. So maybe that's a good place to start. Is what is Envision Stars? I know you're the founder, right? You started.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So before I talk about Envision Stars, let me share with your audience briefly about my story before I developed Envision Stars. Basically, I graduated from dental school in 2008, and a couple of months after graduation, I bought a practice with a classmate, and then 3 months after that, we started our second practice, and we did that. We bought the first practice and started the second practice within 3 months because we didn't know what we didn't know, right? So we struggled for basically 2 years before we figured out our marketing strategies for the first practice, and started working with Dr. Michael Abernathy for the second practice. After that, we became debt free. And we basically had more time and more financial means to do other projects. And what I realized over time is that to develop a business, it involves 3 things, right? First one is systems. Second is people, which is team and patient. And the third one is marketing. If you don't get your marketing game down, then you can't get patients into your practice. And over time, I realized that so many business owners, especially practice owners, waste so much money on marketing because most dentists don't have any marketing experience. So when the marketers approach them, they tell them, okay, I have SEO service, I have website service, I have Facebook service, I have all kind of marketing services. So the dentists don't know any better, so they just go for whatever. That sounds good, right? But what I realized over time is this: the reputation marketing is very effective, and it will market for your practice 24/7 for a long time for free. For free, you don't have to pay any marketing companies over time. And also referral. Most of our patients actually come from referral, even though we spend a lot of money on Facebook, direct mails, website. But if you talk to all the successful practice owners like Dr. Michael Abernathy, Dr. David Phelps, and even some of the dental consultants, they're going to tell you that most of the patients should come from internal referrals. And when you talk about internal referrals, most people just ask for referral or motivate the team to ask for referral, but many of them don't have a system in place, right? So in order to be great at anything, you need system, you need marketing system, you need business system, you need people system, customer service system. So after I figured out the marketing game, I developed Envision Stars to help my practice get a lot more reviews. So currently we have 473 reviews, and our practice is getting most of our patients mainly through referrals. So that's the story behind why I built Envision Stars, is to help mainly practice owners to attract patients and grow their practice without having to spend thousands and thousands of dollars with no measurable results.
I think also the cool thing about number one, referrals and reputation marketing, building those reviews, is that it goes on and on and on and on. I always say, I want to make money while I sleep. That's my goal in business, so that, I can work hard every day and make money, but then I go home and, it stops. I want that to keep rolling. And that's what can happen. Google's up 24/7, 365. So if your patients are in what did you say, over 400? That's a lot of reviews. And, their practices with, I was talking to a guy the other day, had a practice that was had been in practice 33 years, and he had like 3 reviews.
Yeah.
And the bad news is, 1 or 2, if one of those is bad, it's just all bad. But that is the thing that I think maybe practice owners a little older don't appreciate, is 2 things. One is your online reputation is critical right now. That's where patients look for you. They don't just say, it used to be you would say, oh, my tooth hurts, and your sister says, oh, you'd love my dentist, Dr. Nathan Ho, he's awesome, and they go. Well, now the first thing they do is, they pick this up, they Google you, they look for, do they have what does their website look like? And, just like your reception area, if it was redone in 1994, it shows, and, they quickly move on to somebody else. So the number of stars you have, the reviews they go through, those are things that are really critical. You might have patients, you could have 5 patients a day who look and pass on you, and you never know what happened. So
that's right.
I think that's the key. So how do you get 400 plus reviews just through a system? What's the system look like?
Well, the system is just to simplify the process. But in order to get great reviews that will market for your practice 24/7, you have to basically deliver high quality care, right? That's an obligation that we have to do. And our patients have to like and trust us. And once they like and trust us, it's really easy to get reviews. And as you know, not every review is the same. If you were to have a 5-star review with no comments or with a general comment, it's not the same as having a review that has 5 stars and well-written, authentic reviews shared by patients that talk about their stories and experience about our team and our practice. Those are the reviews that actually sell for you over time. Sometimes we do have patients that come to us and accept $20,000, $25,000 treatment plan because they've read our reviews online. So when they when they come in, they already trust us. We don't need to convince them of anything, right? So basically how we get review in our practice is very simple. We basically deliver great care, and we bond with our patients, so make sure they like and trust us. And then we ask them, Mrs. Jones, would you share your story and experience about your appointment today, or the time that you've been with us since the last 5 years? Most of them always most likely will say yes, right? And then the last part is you have to simplify the process for them. So that's where Envision stores come in. Because before I've done it without the system. Is you can get reviews without system, but it's just harder.
Yeah, you're going to ask them, and they're going to say, "Oh yes, when I get home, I'll open my computer and I'll give you a review. I promise." And and some do, but if it's 1 out of 5, that's probably about what you're hitting. Probably less than that.
Yes.
And that's, really in the context of what we're talking about, coming back stronger. This is a topic that any practice owner who's watching this needs to spend a few minutes and just say, look at those two things. What's going on in my online reviews? They may have never looked at them. And number 2 is your referral system. I think a lot of practice owners put in a referral system. They might have started it 5 years ago, and they were going to, I don't know, give a gift certificate or gift card for, whoever came in and said, oh, I was referred by Janie, and write on the back of a business card or what have you. But your staff sort of lets that fall to the wayside when things get busy. So now's a good time to back up and realize that going forward, when we come back, we're going to have a different world. Patients look at us differently. They look at dentistry differently. They make decisions differently. And we need to be very conscious of, I think you hit the nail on the head, Nathan, just ask. And if they're not happy, I always say, if they're not happy, I'd rather know it when they're standing in front of me and I can fix it, instead of, when they're home on their computer, typing a big nasty review.
Yes.
So if somebody is sitting at home and they're looking at that system, so they already know they need some kind of a review. How does a review system work? How does the back end work?
So we basically we tap into Google API, and we pull down all the analytics for practice owners to look at, to see how many people click on their website, search for direction to their practice, hit on the call the practice, so they can see all those data, and they can also see all the reviews that they have and respond to those reviews as well. And I don't know if you knew, but Envision Stores is not just about review or referral. We built a system that basically solve the customer's patient attractions, engagement generation, and conversion. So right now we have review, referral, business texting, web chat, and also text campaign. So our review tie with our business texting. So on that platform, practice owners and their team can basically use the business texting as their phone. The matter of fact, in my practice, my team is actually using Envision Stores more than phone now, because these days when you call patients, they don't answer and they don't call back. But when you text them, most of them text back because they see the message, right? And it's convenient for them. So they go on that business texting system, and they can hit a button to send out a review text to generate more reviews for their practice. They can hit a button to send them a referral text, and we can talk about referral system in just a little bit, because it is powerful. In my practice, I mainly use the review and referral to get most of the patients for free. Remember that, for free.
Right.
And with the business system, when the texts come in, right, you can mark them as leads. You can mark them to follow up, and we have templates with shortcuts that they can click to send out a recall message or a reminder message. Basically, it's like the phone, except it's for texting. Now, it's not a patient communication tool like RevenueWell, Yappy, right? It's not that. Envision Stores is built for marketing and engagement to get more patients into the practice and to engage with them. So So that's our system.
So, so a practice owner who's listening, where would they start? Just kind of a high level concept, because I think a lot of them are used to reputation marketing was I'm a good guy and I belong to these organizations around town, and I'm in the Rotary and people know me, so I'm awesome. Now, I mean, reputation is a lot of places online. Where can they figure out, I mean, how do they figure out what their reputation is or what they think it is? Do they just go search Google for themselves, or go search, dentist in Dallas or best dentist in Dallas or something like that?
Basically, they need to put their shoes, put themselves in the patient's shoes, right?
Okay.
So if I were my patient, what would I do when I look for a dermatologist, when I look for a dentist, when I look for a chiropractor? Okay. I would go on Google and search for dentist in Dallas, Texas, or dentist in my zip code, right? And see who show up. And I would pick the business with the most reviews and also the best reviews. Because if you were to have 1,000 reviews with mostly 5 stars, with no comments, with general comments, that won't help me make my decision to pick that dentist or that dermatologist. I would read the reviews to see if other patients are talking about the experience and the procedures that the business offer that I need, that I want, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the process. So I would recommend dentists to do the same thing. Put themselves in their patient's shoes and go through the process. And then after they search for dentists in, let's say, Dallas, Texas, or Georgia, and then they see a list of dentists, which one would they pick, right? So if their practice has less reviews and worse rating than their competitors, and then just know that most likely their potential patients won't pick them. Instead, they will pick their competitors over them. And let me bring up another point, because when you market on Facebook, direct mails, or when other patients refer other patients, just know this. Most of those people will go on Google to check you out before they call you. And even if they didn't intentionally go on Google to read your reviews, they still go on there to look for directions, and that's when they're going to see your reviews.
Okay. So you might have something that jumps out. So first thing is just to know what's going on out in the world outside of your 4 walls. And
yes.
What a patient, so the other thing is if I search, best dentist in this zip code and I don't show up on the list, that's one problem. Number 2, I do show up on the list and I've got 3.5 stars next to 4.5 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars, I suddenly look, I'm down the list. So that psychological decision that you make, or your prospective new patient makes, moves them right past you. And so you can work on that. I guess you can work on that now. You can go in and reply to reviews. Do you how often do you reply to reviews, or look at the reviews that you get and respond to them?
I see almost every reviews, and I try to respond to them as much as I can. We do have a lot of reviews, and sometimes we forget, and we just have so many reviews to respond to. There was one month that we got 40 new reviews, and actually these days I tell my team to just cut back on the reviews and focus more on the referrals, because we do have a referral system to generate more referrals through Envision Stars as well.
Do you respond to all of them? You respond to the negative ones? What would you suggest somebody do and to get the stars up, or get the reputation part of it up?
I would recommend to respond to almost all of them. Even the negative reviews, unless the negative reviews is so unreasonable and you don't want to respond to that review, because that patients might come back and respond to your response, and then you just gonna argue online, right? When the review is so unreasonable, then other patients, when they read it, they will assume that was a crazy patient, instead of a crazy dentist or a bad dental practice, right? So it just depends on the reviews. Now, sometimes we do get negative reviews because we can't satisfy every patient that come into our practice, right? There was one patient that I bent my back and neck to treat her, and she was so happy. And then when she came back, she wasn't happy with one of the team members because she didn't remember the rest of her treatment plan. So she left us a nasty review on there, and I basically called her and just basically find out what the situation was and how she felt, and then she came back and deleted her review and left a 5-star review for us. So that's a win-win, right? In business, it's all about communication. It's so important to focus on effective communication with not just our team but our patient out there.
So you could have, and that's a good point. You know, I've heard people say, rather than getting it, and I forget what they call it, whatever the back and forth, the argument is on social media in front of, you know, God and everybody. And it's you know, arguing with, what do they say? Nobody ever won an argument with a customer. You know,
that's right.
You arguing with them never coming back. And, you know, who knows, the next 10 people who come on and look, see that. I mean, that's just, you just look bad. You look
right.
Unprofessional. So focus on that. And maybe, you know, I've also heard people say, you know, if you see one, just first of all, call the patient. Don't communicate with them through your online review system. Communicate with them personally and say, Mrs. Jones, oh my gosh, I didn't even know this happened. And you might find that exactly that they were having a bad day. You know, they needed, you know, Nathan, I have 5 kids. And there are days when I need to yell at somebody, but, you know, I don't want it won't be the kids. So, you know, you don't want to be the guy at the paint store or whatever who screwed up that day. And, you know, and I always understand that and feel bad. But there are times when patients just have a bad day and you happen to be, they just came from the dentist and they're cranky and there it goes. And, you know, you talk to them and they may do exactly that.
You know what, Steve? I'm so glad that you just share your point of view there, because so many dentists, when they get a negative review, they get frustrated, they get disappointed, they get angry. I would recommend not to do that at all, not to be like that, because people when they have a bad days, they're gonna voice their opinion. And I had a patient that he came in and we didn't have a receptionist to check him in because we were having a meeting in the back. And then he went on Google, Facebook, Yelp, and left us 3 negative reviews. And I contacted him through the text message, and I said that we were having a meeting in the back. But I'm so glad that he pointed it out. Next time we'll have someone in the back, or we have a sign. Someone in the front, and have a sign to let our patients know that we are having a meeting in the back. And I said we are continually trying to develop our business, just like every business out there. And he came back and thanked me and appreciate me for sharing my perspective, and went back and also changed his review. He actually increased from 1 star to a 4-star. And yeah. And
that becomes your reputation right there, right? Your reputation as with that patient is, you know, oh my gosh, we didn't realize that. I always, again, I say, if somebody is unhappy with my business, I would rather tell me while we're standing here. And there was a study, I think it was 3 to 11, I think is what it was. For every 3 positive marks or positive comments you get, there are 11 negatives that you never know about or never hear. Well, today you do hear that. You hear it because it's easy. You know, it used to be they just quit coming to you. Now they quit coming to you, and then they go, you know, jump on Google and jump on all these places and share their bad day and their story. And so, yeah, I think that's first. So first of all, it's know what's out there. Just look. And now's a good time to know what's out there, right?
Yes. And before we move on to another topic, I'd like to mention one more thing that's very important that will help a lot of business owners, and is that I would recommend dentists and practice owners and even the team to go on some local private Facebook groups, and also Nextdoor, right? Nextdoor app is powerful to see what people are talking about on those platforms. So all you need to do is type in dentist, and it will pull in all the conversations that they talk about on there. And you will see threads that from patients that talk about your practice, recommending your practice or not recommending your practice. So if someone is not recommending your practice or trash your reputation, then you need to go on there to respond to those statements, right? Because we do, the reason I figured that out, because sometimes we do have patients that come in and tell us that they saw a recommendation or a mention of our practice on Nextdoor platform or in a mommy Facebook group or in their community Facebook group. So those are the things that dentists and business and practice owners can do to build their reputations online, to attract patients, to grow the practice without having to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on marketing.
Is Nextdoor, is that an app?
Nextdoor is a big platform, just like Facebook, except it's for the neighbors to use to share the updates about their neighborhood, and also to recommend or not recommend certain businesses. So it's very targeted and very specific to the neighbors. Okay. So in my practice, we would have so many neighbors around our practice, and they would go in and say, and somebody sometimes will type in and ask, I just moved to the area and I'm looking for a great dentist. I'm looking for a great pediatric doctor. And then a whole bunch of people would jump in and say, I would recommend Affinity Smiles. I would recommend Dr. Ho. I would recommend Dr. Joan. I would recommend Dr. White. So go on there, see what people are talking about, because it's part of your reputation marketing. If people are not talking about your practice, then your reputation may be not well known out there.
Right. Yeah. And that's the other thing. Sometimes not being talked about is worse.
Yes.
Nobody knows who you are. So referrals. And I know Dr. Mike Abernathy is a longtime friend of the Profitable Dentist, great guy, one of my all-time favorite people in dentistry. And I know you are friends and work with Dr. Abernathy. He is a big proponent of referrals and and that just needs to become second nature, kind of in the culture or baked into the DNA of your practice needs to be referrals. And I think every practice owner at some point read an article, went to a course, probably bought a course from us, went through it, implemented it, and now 5 years later, they don't know where it is. So again, it's a good time to dig into your referrals. Where should they start in figuring out their referral system?
One thing that every practice owner needs to think about when they think about referral is that you need to have a referral system, because every marketing book that I've read, right, they all talk about referral, and they always mention that referral is the best marketing for your business because it's free. And if you have the right type of patients or customers in your business, then you will attract the same kind of patients or customers into your practice. Now, every business owner know to ask for referral and to tell the team and to motivate them to ask for referral. But over time, it's gonna die off. The team not gonna do it on a consistent basis because no one likes to ask for things, right? Like, Steve, can you do this for me? Can you do us a favor? Can you do this for our practice? We would love your referral, right? So what I've done is I created a system, a win-win system, just like the Dental WinWin Facebook group, right? Mm-hmm. So a win-win system, win-win for the team, win-win for the patient, win-win for the practice. Would you like me to go into the detail of this referral system?
Yes. Oh yeah.
So to give you a brief history, before I used to do what other business owners usually do, right? We ask for referral. Mrs. Jones, would you recommend some of your friends and family members to our practice? We do that over and over again, but we don't know if Mrs. Jones actually going to go out there and recommend other patients to our practice or not. And then we know that there's no incentive for Mrs. Jones to do that other than liking and trusting us. Now in Texas, we cannot bribe patients for referrals. We cannot give them a gift at all, like other states. So what I've done is basically I offer them a gift, regardless of whether if they refer to our practice or not. But I basically kind of make them pay for it at a discount. So an electric toothbrush only costs us about $37, right? Mm-hmm. But the value is about $90 to $120. So basically we tell our patients that if they pay for a preventative procedures like sealant or fluoride costs $39, sealant costs $54. And after that, we give them a gift, an electric toothbrush in a nice gift basket or bag, right? So the value of that gift is actually more than $100, but they only pay $39 or $50, right? Okay. And so they didn't pay for that gift. They pay for the fluoride to help prevent cavities, pay for the sealant to prevent cavities. But we give them that gift. And after we give them the gift, we tell them, they get so excited, Steve. They say, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I haven't used an electric toothbrush in my life. Or I've been meaning to buy one, but I haven't had the I haven't had the chance to. So we give them that. It's an awesome gift, and they get super excited. And then after that, we give them 3 referral cards. It's also a gift, right? It's called new patient gift by referral only, right? So we say, Steve, we would really appreciate it if you could share, if you would share the same gift to some of your friends, family members, coworkers, or your neighbors, right? So it's just like a free electric toothbrush for the friend, neighbors, or coworker, right? And if they like you or your dental practice, then they're gonna want their friends to come to your dental practice to get high quality care. It's a win-win, right? Mm-hmm. And it's such a great gift that they're not gonna throw it away. And then after that, one more level. We say, Mrs. Jones, I'll be sending you a text. For a referral text, and we would really appreciate it if you could share your referral and endorsement for our practice. And our referral text coming from Envision Stars has all the written verbiage and our business information for them to share on Facebook, next door, through email or text message. And all they have to do is click on the link, click on the second link, text them to those platforms. And if they were to share on Facebook, guess what? If they had thousands of people that follow them, then hundreds of thousands of people would see the endorsement for our business with our business information for them to call or to get to know our practice better, right? So it is powerful, and and basically we don't pay for anything. They pay for the toothbrush, and they share the endorsement on major social media platform. Right, versus asking them to, we would really appreciate it if you would share or refer your friends and family members to us. We actually have a predictable system to get patients in that doesn't cost anything, but very effective.
Well, and it's always an awkward, it's awkward for everybody. You're checking out, you just had a procedure, and suddenly they want to talk about your friends and family. And, you want to say, you just want to get out of there, and you want to think, I don't, gee, I had a good experience, but I don't know about this. So you really just made it easy. I think what you did is create an experience around coming to you versus the procedure you just got. And that's what people are interested to share, thrilled to share. And I do know things like whitening and things like electric toothbrush, and those are things that are highly valued and tied to the dentist office. So
yes.
So
and it's something that the team is motivated to share as well, because it's such a great gift, and they just want to give away to the patient that they like, right? Versus making them ask for referral, because most would feel awkward and not asked. That's the experience I get from my team members and other team members as well.
Do you have any numbers on the percentage that, if you ask, I mean, as a numbers person, I ask 10 times and I get one, for every 10 that I ask, or 10 toothbrush referral things that I do, I get one referral, one actual referral. Do you have any kind of numbers that you track?
Absolutely, and we track that by having new patients that bring in the gift card that we hand out, right? Or the ones that come in and said, "I saw the endorsement from Mrs. Jones that talk about your practice," right? So basically, before we just utilize a referral system and just get them to share, but the new referral system that I just shared is fairly new. We just implemented a couple months ago, and it works really well. So basically, I give you an example. The first 5 cards that I brought with me to the Chamber of Commerce meeting, and I gave those out. Okay, gave those out. The next day, I got a patient in the practice, and then 2 more patients after that. Now, you would have to spend thousands of dollars to get 3 quality patients into your practice, because the first patient that came to our practice, she needed 5 crowns, and I did all of them. So because she always trusts us.
That, yeah. I mean, you paid for that marketing right there.
Yes, and so the ROI is huge.
Okay, awesome. So, and I was kind of keeping an eye on time. Anything sort of, again, you got a practice owner who's sitting at home trying to figure out what to do. They made some notes. They're going to, first thing when we're finished, they're going to go Google themselves and see what their new prospective new patients see. They're going to fix that. They're going to go back and say, I'm going to put together a referral program so that when we start back, we do it with every single patient. Anything else you would advise right now? Somebody who is, you can't see patients, or if you can, you might see emergency patients, but anything that they can do to kind of help with that reputation, referral, in that context? Anything else you would advise them to do right now?
Yeah, right now, I would advise every practice owners to write down their game plan. So when they go back to the practice, they actually have a system to follow, because without systems, it's really hard to get people to be accountable, and it's really hard to get consistent result, right? So write down your game plan, okay? If you're gonna try to get more reviews, okay, this step 1 is to deliver excellent customer service, high quality care. Step 2, ask to get authentic reviews, not just every review. And then 3rd is to send them a link, a text to get review. Yeah. Easy, right? Systematic. Same thing with referral that I just talked about. Inspire the patient. Dr. Abinati said that the job of the dental assistant is not to suck spit, but instead to inspire the patients. That's more important than to suck spit, right? Because we use a suction hose with Mr. Thirsty or some of the apparatus out there to do that. But to inspire the patients and get them to refer other patients to practice, then those team members can become superstar for the practice. So write down the game plan of what you're going to do in your practice. I know when we get back to business, we can't see a full room of waiting room of patients. We can't have backup patient column. We can't have second columns, right? I used to have a productive column, a non-productive column, and 2 hygienists with 2 columns and their backup columns. So that's 6 columns in one day, right? Now you can't do that. So
it'll be a little while before you're back to that.
That's right. So what business owners need to think about is write down the game plan, right? So what my game plan for that aspect is, we're gonna check patients from the car, right? So when we make the appointments, we tell them, when you arrive, Mrs. Jones, when you arrive, stay in your car and text us, right? I won't say call, because if too many of them call and we can't answer a phone call, then we miss a call. But text us, we get the text, we tell them, okay, we will let you know when we're ready for you. And when the team and the operatory is ready or ready for the patients, then we send them a text, Mrs. Jones, we are ready for you. Please come in. When they come in, the team will take them straight to the operatory without staying in the waiting room. And then we do all the paperwork signing and money collection in the operatory. And then after the procedures, whatever procedures that we do on them is done, then we schedule for the next appointments, and then we send them straight to the exit door. So that's the kind of system that you need to put in place right now before you come back, because when you come back, you have so many things to do that you don't even think about right now.
Well, and not only that, but there are so many things to do that aren't just doing what you used to do.
Yes.
I think we're going to find a large number of things we never thought about doing. And that we're, who knows what infection control is going to look like going forward.
That's right.
Who knows what, social distancing issues there are going to be. And not only what is mandated, but what your patients just think, their attitudes towards coming to the dentist are going to be completely different. So yeah, now's a good time to really put that. I like what you're saying, just protocol, like step 1, 2, 3, kind of a linear, here's what we need to do. And then do it the first, week and, regroup and say, okay, what's working, what's not working. But at least I always say doing something will produce more results than doing nothing. So
that's right.
Understanding that when you come back, you're going to have to do something, and it's going to have to be different. So no, that's great advice. So anybody, and I know you do a dental WinWin Summit, and it was supposed to be happening. When is it? Did we just
Yeah, it was supposed to be April the 20th and
That's
21st. But we just postponed that to September 18th and 19th of this year. It's gonna be great. We had a great event last year with great speakers. It's more like a small meeting, like you say, small meeting, more like mastermind style.
Yes.
It's great. We had, even though it was the first event, but we had 150 people there.
That's a good set for me, Nathan, doing 1,000, 1,200 doc events. Those are awesome in their day, but I get a lot more out of an intimate event. And the other thing that I've noticed is that like your events, the speakers stay around.
Yes.
So it's not a matter of you go see somebody speak, you go see Dr. Abernathy speak, and he's very good. Known him a long time. He's just very good at it. And you have pages of notes, and, he's this real awesome, interesting guy. And, in the old days, he would come in, speak, and leave, because that's what he was there to do. Well, a event like that, he hangs around. I mean, he's there the whole weekend. And, you're sitting at a table and you're chatting with him. And so I think that's as events move forward. We've done a lot of events. We sort of the non-state association dental events. And, they had their time, but I think events like yours are really where you get more. You have a broad section of speakers, and then you got access to them. I mean, they hang around. So
yes, thank you for sharing that. That means a lot to me, because I'm fairly new in this space. But at our event last time, we had speakers sit at a different table with different attendees, and like you said, they hang around so the attendees can talk to them, can connect with them afterward, and the attendees are sitting in the round table and they can connect with each other. They get a lot of value out of from the event.
I think anybody who went to events 20 years ago and go now feel that difference. It's one thing to listen to somebody speak. It's one thing, and it's another thing to listen to them speak and then be able to sort of pick their brain afterwards and say, what did you mean by this? And how do you do that? And, I don't know anybody that speaks now that isn't thrilled to share with you.
Oh yes, and you know what? We have breaks, and then we serve them with good meals, so they feel good, and they're able to absorb in the information, and it's not just sitting on the chairs and listen to some information and go home and implement. That's boring.
Right, right. And then you do, real quickly before we wrap up, you do Dental WinWin Facebook group, which
Yes.
is probably, if it's not the most, it's definitely one of the most active dentist practice owner groups on Facebook. And for anybody who's listening who is, again, sitting around, it's Corona, Corona shutdown, and you think, I'm not going to get on, why do I need to get on Facebook? I didn't even like my high school girlfriend. It's a whole different thing. And the dental world is really active in Facebook groups, especially, and some of it is heavy and clinical, and some of it is just comfortable, share ideas, joke around. It's a neat place to socialize. And Dental WinWin is one of my favorites.
Thank you so much, and you're one of my favorite member in there as well. As you know, every Facebook group is different, and they all have different culture within their group, right? Well, the vision that I have for Dental WinWin is that I want the experts, the dental experts like yourself, the consultants that wanted to share, and I want to connect them with the dentists and practice owners. So they can share ideas. One end will absorb the information, the other end will share, and then maybe someday, maybe the practice owners will utilize the service that some of these experts are offering. So it's a win-win, right? And it's a very positive group as far as culture-wise.
It is, and obviously with my magazine, that's what the idea is. I connect readers with key opinion leaders, with clinicians, with somebody they can read the magazine and leave feeling like they got something. So it parallels very well. Win-win is a perfect way to put it. So,
and you know what? I read your magazine before, and I could feel that culture that you instill in that concept.
Well, good. I appreciate that. So with that, I see our time is running short. Nathan, how would somebody get in touch with you if they wanted to reach out and found something, a nugget here that they wanted to explore a little bit further?
I'm always on Facebook. They can join the Dental WinWin Facebook group. And in there, they can click on my name and message me through Facebook. If not, they can email me at contact@envisionstars.com. And if they want to learn more about Envision Stars or want to try out, right? Then they can also go on envisionstars.com to check it out. The investment is nothing compared to most of the marketing media out there.
Right. Well, good. Well, practice owners. So that's how you get a hold of Dr. Nathan Ho. If you don't remember any of those, you can always reach out to us. What part of what we do is make those connections. So with that, I think we'll draw this one to a close. And Nathan, good to see you again as always, and I really appreciate you sharing today.
Oh, very good to see you and get the opportunity to chat with you today, Steve. I'm sure we will reconnect on the stage or at a meeting very soon. So thank you so much for the opportunity for me to share some of my knowledge today.
Oh, you got it. Anytime. So practice owners, hang in there and just get ready to come back stronger. So with that, we'll wrap it up. And until next time, see ya.
Take care. Bye-bye.